And we are live. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. All right. So today I'm really excited, guys, because I have one of my favorite people on YouTube with me. And his name is Alan. You guys might know him. He's been around for a while, right? And I feel like more people need to know about him personally. So this is Alan, also known as WitchInTheBurbs and other names that you've had over the years.
Yeah, well, I'm sticking with WitchInTheBurbs these days, for real.
Yeah. And then his links and everything are down below, but I'm going to kick it over to him and have him kind of like introduce who he is. But first, I'm going to say that we're covering basics today. So, like my basics, his basics, our basics, like what your basics are, basically.
Everybody's got basics.
So we're gonna be some basic bitches today, is what I'm trying to say. All right. So go ahead, Alan. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Alan. I am known as WitchInTheBurbs for the most part. I have a background in a lot of Appalachian witchery from my great-grandmother's side of the family. I have been a Wiccan for 20 plus freaking years, and here I am. I guess I'll say just shameless plug here, okay?
Yeah.
I wrote a book called Spell in My Pocket, which is a very basic, it's like really no fluff instructions. Spell packets, bottle spells, mojo hands, all stuff that I got from my great-grandmother's side of the family. And my blog is WitchInTheBurbs.com because I freaking love writing. So there.
Yeah. So the cool things about Alan, in my opinion, is that first of all, when you go to an Alan video, and I've told him this, you instantly know that he's gonna start off the video like, I wish I'd brought a cup with me, but just pretend this is the cup. And he starts off the video like this. Hey y'all. So, and then like he just starts and you're like, he's about to say some shit. Like whatever is happening right now, he's about to lay some tea. So so first of all, I love that. But also he is very like family oriented, and it's very like he said, like folk magic. It's very like family rooted. There are traditions that he talks about in his family that have been picked up, and also like his own traditions that he has learned and built even. And I just like that he meshes things, you know what I mean? Like he takes that all and kind of gets to the heart. So there you go. That's Alan. Okay. And everybody, yeah.
It's a no nonsense kind of thing. Like I'm just that person. Like I don't sugarcoat nothing. Like it's not a thing.
Yeah.
If you can't get to the center of it, what's the point in saying it, basically?
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody's saying hi, they're loving the basic bitch thing. Or basic witch or tea time bitches, I'm seeing.
Basic witches.
So this is Alan's first live chat, guys, like together, like this. So everybody give him a warm welcome to that. And he's got the chat up so he can see everybody and all this. But so like, okay, so let's start talking about some shit. So for you, what does mean like going to basics mean? Like if you could say what is basics, what are your basics?
For me, basics are meditation, energy work, connecting to nature again, because life takes its toll, right? And we all have these things that happen, and they can be huge crises, or they can be little tiny things that just the fuck out of you all the time.
Yeah.
So when that happens and you just kind of like, you don't really lose a connection. You're just like absent from it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going back to basics, like doing the stuff you first learned to do is one of the easiest ways to reconnect and get back to that divine connection that you really have been missing for so long.
Mm-hmm. I love that you said meditation like right off the bat, because when I was thinking about this over the week, because I've like known that this was coming, when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Like if I could boil it down and only like start at one thing out of all the things, it would be like journeying. It would be, you know, going to the other side. It would be sitting in that space sort of. And I think meditation is part of that. You know what I mean? Like being able to set in that silence and listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This is what I was about to call it, was sitting in the silence. Because
yeah.
What I do is sitting in the silence.
Yeah, because I mean, like you can't, I don't know. There's so many messages to receive if you just kind of like sit in the moment and go, all right, I'm just gonna be open and just shut up for a little while.
Like it doesn't even have to be like a big fancy thing. Just sit on the back porch, watch the trees, listen to the wind whisper sweet nothings into your soul, that type of thing. Just be there.
Yeah. Like I'm going to start singing Pocahontas in a second if you keep saying that the wind is like whispering to my soul sweet nothings. Like, can you paint with all the colors of the wind? But yeah, no, like you said, sitting on the back porch. I think one of my favorite moments is, and I just shared a meme on my Facebook that said like, you know, things in adult life that you love, you know, or moments of pleasure in adult life. And one of them was like those first few moments in the morning when it's quiet and you have a cup of coffee.
Yes.
And I always think about it because, you know, growing up in the country, especially, like you have that cup of coffee on the porch.
Yes.
Outside first thing in the morning, and before it gets too hot, and that's like, it's something that a lot of people think of as just like a mundane nice moment, but it's actually not that mundane to me at all.
Right. I forgot to light my incense.
That's all right, I didn't even get to. Like my hair is half wet because I got out the shower. It's all right. We do this for you guys. What are they saying? Let's see. Yeah, journeying, meditating, and journaling, going for walks in familiar nature places. That's another one that, like, just being out in nature, like going for walks and things like that helps.
Yes. Back to the roots.
I feel like nowadays, like we can very easily spend a lot of time inside and we don't even realize.
Yeah. I mean, like when you go to like, okay, so work, depending on where you work, you probably spend that 8 hours in a building somewhere doing whatever you do. But like for me, I'm spending 8 hours a night, well, 9 hours a night in a building surrounded by computer equipment and a cubicle, and it's just like it's a large chunk of your life, and so you kind of have to get away from that.
You have to like disconnect to connect.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and Joey's in the chat, Joey Morris, and she says we live in boxes, and I said, yeah, exactly. Like that's. And not only that, we live in electromagnetic boxes, which is interesting too. Like, as you were saying, like around computers and all of this, I'm like, man, we have wires all around us in these boxes. So it's like a whole different field that we've built ourselves in. I'm hitting things on chat, my bad. That I gesture a lot. And so that's like, I don't know. That's something also to think about energetically, how we're surrounded by it all the time. Like literally. What you doing?
I have somebody's like, I can't find the link, so I'm like, okay.
Oh, I have all the links.
Did you see it on the page?
Page? Upward inflection?
Page?
Yeah, Gargle Mistress 30 says, we are losing connection in spite of all the connectedness.
Right. And I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like, I'm not knocking the internet. Because
hello.
Like, right, you know, like, can't knock the internet. We're like YouTubers at this point.
Right.
So, but I mean, I feel like the internet gives us some connection to other people, and we get to talk about things and, you know, bounce stuff off of each other and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think,
you know, there's something to be said for real life outside the internet connection too.
It's balance, you know? I feel like it's a balance of things. Like, you can't just always be inside, but also like the internet offers a plethora of knowledge. I mean, and access to many different lifestyles, many different cultures. I mean, it just, you know, there's a lot there, and also just connecting with other people in this way, you know?
Right.
So it definitely serves a purpose. It's definitely good. But yeah, I mean, anything in excess tends to really kind of knock everything out of whack. There you go, invoking the balance again. Yeah, it's my old name, man. I can't get away from it. Yeah, but Alan and I were talking about balance on the phone the other day too, and how important it is.
And that's kind of like, that's pretty much where my path is anyway. It's like, that's the whole point of what I do. Because when you're, it's not so much, and I was thinking about this morning, it's not so much about, I mean, you know how Wicca is fairly dualist. The goddess and the god, and the female and the male, and the positive and the negative, and the light and the dark. But it's not necessarily about balancing two opposites. It's about more, I mean, I know people say it that way, but it's really more about the two coming together to build the third road as you're walking down the third. Like, you're walking the third road rather than just trying to balance two opposites.
It's more of a, well, I hate using these phrases with the black and the white, but it's more of like a gray. It's not really like balancing a black and a white. It's creating a gray.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I see it too.
Yeah. Like, I mean, well, you know, you look at, like, I was obsessed with yin-yangs growing up, and how there's like two pieces, but then the other has, you know, the opposite color in it. So there's a little bit of each. So even they, though, aren't fully one or the other. It's like the showing of both blending. But people see it as two sides together. You know what I'm saying?
Rob said, okay, so in the chat, Rob said, in all things balance. And that's
all things.
All things. I say that all the time. And like, I say that all the time. And speaking of the yin yang, check this out. This is not awesome.
Oh my gosh!
Candle holder. I'm like, oh my god.
That's a candle holder?
Yeah, it's a tea light holder.
That's so cool.
And I thought I had a black tea light around here somewhere, but I don't anymore. But actually Rob brought this as a gift to the coven. So I mean, it's like freaking awesome because it pulls apart too. But
that's awesome.
I mean, it's just like it is.
Is it like magnetic or something? It sounds like it wants to like stay together.
No, it's just ceramic, and it doesn't actually.
Yeah, those are
together.
Cool.
But
good call, Rob.
That was freaking awesome.
Joey says, I love how this is basics chat. Oh yeah, you know, the balance in all things. Well, it's my basics chat, okay?
Balance is basic.
Yeah.
Actually getting to the balance is basic. I'll put it like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the listening thing we were talking about, because when you find that need to go back to basics, it's usually because you're getting overwhelmed by everything else, or like you're outputting too much and there's no input.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we're like, all right, shut everything down. Let's see where we are again. And yeah, that's so the yin yang. It's like we only lit one candle and we forgot about the other now, so we need to stop and light that other candle. It's like being a little bit balance OCD, where like, you turn something to the odd number and then you have to turn it to another odd number so that it can be even. Like you have to go the other way first to like set in that so that you can even out. I don't know. Did that make sense? Did I just ramble? I don't know.
It made sense to me.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. Yeah. No, that candle is awesome. Oh, hey, Random. Hey, Sarah. Hello, everybody in the chat, by the way. I've been rude. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh. So you on your channel recently have been talking about getting back to the basics in terms of goddess work.
Yes.
Do you want to like talk a little bit about that for people who don't know?
Okay. So for me, in the tradition that I come from, right, we start with goddess immersion first, and then we move into God immersion, like as a second degree. And then as a third degree, it's the uniting of the opposites in the sacred marriage. So the goddess immersion is basically you research a goddess of choice or one that you feel drawn to. And when you've gotten your research together, you would like build an altar and goddess and cook foods from that culture and eat those foods and make offerings and, do things within that specific culture that deity might be used to or whatnot, just to connect with that particular deity.
I love the idea of that. Like, I mean, not because you have to.
Right.
But because you want to get to know them and you want to like experience their culture, and like I love that.
Because, well, I mean, it's about building relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I say this like everybody on earth knows it, but like in order to work with any particular spirit, whether it's a deity or an ancestor or just some random floating entity that happened to live at your rental property decades ago, or because
it happens. It happens, right?
It happens. It's you kind of you have to get to know them, really. Like, I know for a fact that our landlady's parents still live here. Like, they're still here. And it's not like when we moved in 12 years ago, I knew that they were here, like beyond the shadow of a doubt. All their stuff is still upstairs in the attic.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. So I'm like, okay, so here's the thing.
Like, y'all live upstairs.
Y'all live upstairs because all your stuff is up there. And as long as you ain't stealing stuff and making me lose my shit, we'll be all right. No big deal. Because I'm like, it's rude as hell to kick them out. They've lived here forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like people, and I think Random and I actually talked about it in her live chat, is that everybody, like, I won't say everybody, that's a generalization, but a lot of people want like all the spirits just out of their house, and that's not like, spirit doesn't equal bad, and it doesn't equal like I'm gonna start some shit automatically. Like, they can exist and just like coexist with you and be fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this epic battle of proportions where like you need to just be like, in the name of the Father and the Son, and like sometimes they just stroll around, and that's okay. So I like that you're also respectful of the fact that like this was their home.
Right, because I mean, it like I live here now. If somebody just happened to walk in the front door and was like, "Get the fuck out," I would be pissed. I'd be like, "No, I live here."
Yeah, yeah. Joey's making fun of me because we're talking about the dead in my house on Basic Witchcraft. Joey, look. You knew what this was going to be. But I feel like that is a basic, because one of the first things when people start trying to work with stuff is like they're going to explore like what the deal is with their house, like their energy around their house and their home and their land. And those are like some of the first interactions essentially that they're going to have anyway. See, I can bring it back to basics if I need to.
Well, okay, but see, to me, that's a basic thing. It's building relationships with a deity or spirits of place, spirits of land.
Yeah.
Because the spirits of the land aren't necessarily fae, even though I like to think of them that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the spirits of the land are people who have lived here.
Mm.
I mean, so to me, that's kind of a basic. Like, you don't even necessarily have to get to know them. Just be friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you, we're all good.
Right. Just be respectful, be friendly.
You know, and I was thinking as you're saying that, like, I'm like, but this is basics, even to the extent, because, I mean, isn't that connecting? That's the first thing that we talked about.
Right.
It's connecting. It's another form of connection. And to have that relationship with any of these, you know, entities that we're talking about, you have to listen, which brings us back to the whole meditation journeying thing. So, you know, and being in that silence. So, yeah, it's just another way to connect, and being respectful of the fact that there are other sort of life forms that deserve to be there as well.
They're life forms. They're just disembodied life forms.
Yes.
They're just disembodied.
Yeah.
They're physically impaired. But they're still there.
Unless they got a vessel.
Oh yeah, unless they got a vessel.
That's a whole other chat.
Right. That's a whole different topic. Like I don't know that we need to get into vessels. So yeah, that to me is kind of a basic. And I say that that kind of brings me around to like read before I even started work back in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
God, I feel so old. 1990?
You mean last year, Ellen? You're so young.
1990? Oh my God. You know, that's like, it doesn't even make me feel old when people say, or like to see kids growing up, it doesn't make me feel old. What makes me feel old is when somebody says to me, this movie came out 25 years ago.
Yes.
Then I'm like,
oh what? My gosh. When the craft hit 20 years recently, I think it was 20. It's probably more now. I was like, whoa.
I know. I'm like, really? Whoa. What? No, that's a lie.
Yeah. It's because I mean, time just, you don't realize. Like I'm horrible whenever anybody's like, so when was that? I'm like, I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm so bad with timelines memory wise. Like I feel like things that happened 20 years ago were like 5 years ago. So
right. Like my short-term memory is shit.
Yeah.
but I have long-term memory that goes on for decades and decades and decades. And it feels like it was 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, oh shoot, it's Victoria Day in Canada, so everyone's closed, but the local metaphysical shop is open. Hell yeah. Way to hold it down for Canada Day, metaphysical shop. Living or not. Yeah, Random Witch says respect goes both ways, living or non-living. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, also like I'm gonna put it out there. If you guys have any questions to ask me or him about stuff, we'll do that.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. We're here.
Okay, so back to what I was about to say.
Yes, back to you. Yes, because you were talking. Go ahead.
I interrupted my own thought with age stuff. So, okay. So back in 1990, before I started coven work, one of the books that really was one of the first books I read is Amber Wolf. And it was originally published in 19...
Alan, say that again because I think you lagged some, at least on my end.
Okay. It's called In the Shadow of the Shaman.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And it... My earbuds are all coming out of my ears. Hold on a second. So, one of the basic practices in that book that really got to me was bonding with your animal medicine or animal totem. So that's kind of like, that's like a foundation to my practice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that one, but yeah, that's probably one of the first places I started anyway. When I think about it, like one of the first things that I was like excited and like I had a dream about my wolf when I was like 12 or 13 where like he merged with me, and I say he even though I'm a she. I don't know why, guys, it's just a thing. And maybe it's a balance thing, I don't know. But I mean, there is something within Norse stuff that says that your fetch or that sort of thing will be the opposite gender of you anyway. But then gender is also fluid, so that's a whole other topic, not for basics. Sorry, guys. Shit. So no, like, but animal work, animal medicine was some of the first stuff. I mean, even as far as the symbols and the messages that they bring, like learning them as well. Because that's part of that connection thing and getting out into nature and stuff. Oh, we have a question. Top 3 animal spirit guides. I'm over here like working with a zoo, like, all right, y'all, look.
I know, I'm like, let's see.
Well,
I guess actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
My top 3 would probably be, well, the first that I actually discovered was bear medicine. So I'm like, that's me, like bear medicine.
Yeah.
Probably white tigers, because it's kind of like the second one that I discovered. And then I don't even know that I have a third, or that I've worked with a third necessarily. So I can't say top 3, really.
So mine would be definitely wolf first and foremost. Like, I mean, anybody who knows Joey refers to me as Wolfie. And then lately, crow has been really big. Like the last 3 years, yeah, pretty much ever since I got priestess, we'll say it that way. Crow has been hardcore there. And being a quote unquote crow woman as well is a term that has come up a lot. And then honestly, spider was a shadow for me. I wasn't scared of a spider itself, but I had this like horrible dream that was like, it was like the end of It, for those who who's seen it, like this massive spider. And I had to face it, and that was when I was like 18, and I was like having to weave the web of life and go out into the world. And so there was a major fear there. But now grandmother spider has become very much an ally, very helpful. And I don't know. One of the first things I put in the big ass BOS that I have was a grandmother spider page, because I'm like, nope, this needs to happen before we weave the rest of this book. Let's weave a web for her. So yeah, mine are probably wolf, crow, spider. I have a lot of others that have touched my life. I ultimately want to get like a grayscale tattoo from here all the way across my shoulders to here, like, you know, like armor, of all of them merging together.
Ooh,
like energetically. Awesome. Yeah, like wearing them like my protection, my animalistic protection of all the messengers that I have with me and all of my guides. So yeah, but you know, money and shit, that's the thing.
Thing, yes. Sarah said, y'all spirit tribes are Noah's Ark. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, you know, but when you start with like listening to the messages and stuff, and that's another thing too. We both kind of work with native stuff too.
Yeah.
We have that side to us, and I think that that's a lot of what brings that element in as well. Because there's a heavy focus on the animals there, and like noticing their connection with nature and how they naturally just are aware.
I think animals for me are probably animals and trees are probably the two big things for me that represent all of nature. Like,
yeah,
if I need to connect with the one all thing of nature, it's animals and trees that I have to dive into.
Yeah. Yeah, same with me. I mean, I can remember drawing trees. Like that was the first thing. Yes, of course we're talking about Joey loves trees. No, I think that was one of the first things that I remember even drawing. Like when I would go to draw something, I would draw a tree. Because I was fascinated with them. I loved drawing like their root system and then like the bare bones of their branches. Like they were gorgeous to me, and they still are. They're still gorgeous. And I think it's interesting that so many different spiritualities involve trees.
Right. Like, huh.
Yeah.
It's almost
it.
It's almost like a universal theme, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the tree is like the axis mundi or the axis mundi. You know what I mean? Joyce says I did that drawing too. Everybody's talking about tree porn. Hold up now. That is not the kind of basics we're talking about.
Speaking of trees, someone mentioned to me a book a while back. And like I went out, put out something in one of my newsletters about something I was reading, and I was like, I didn't have a book to read because I wasn't reading at the time or something. And they responded to the newsletter and were like, and of course it goes directly to my inbox, and they said, I recommend The Religion of Trees. And so it's a book that they recommended called The Religion of Trees or something like that. And I have not checked it out, but I'm like, this sounds pretty freaking awesome. I might have to try finding this.
Yeah. When you said it, I'm like, is that a thing? That's a thing. I need to look that up.
I know.
I wonder if Joy's read it, because she's always talking about trees. She also said that the trees are the guardians of the world. That's how she feels about it. So guys, questions? Questions,
comments.
Cigar, Tipperillo. See, it's the only thing I could draw as a child. Yeah, so a lot of people start out drawing trees, apparently. So okay, so now tell us more about the goddess immersion, because I know Rob said that in his goddess immersion activity, the deer was showing up a lot because we were talking about animals and everything. Was that what you wanted to say, or because I know I like interrupted and was like, I just love that cultures. So
I mean, that's pretty much it. You're basically just researching the deity and then doing things surrounding that deity, building a relationship with them, and they might or might not be a permanent fixture in your life. It's just you're building a relationship with them for that moment and learning to connect with. I hate to put it this way, but you're kind of connecting with the feminine energy of goddess, and then afterwards you're connecting with the masculine energy of God, and then beyond that you're kind of walking the third road between the two.
Have you ever had people do that, or you do that, and like the goddess not respond?
Yes.
So what do you do then? Do you like go back to the basics of the basics and like start over with another one?
That's what I did. Cause like, like I was like, let's see. There was a deity when I did my first goddess immersion. I tried to connect with Hestia, who is a Greek goddess, but I don't really have much of a connection to Greek gods. So I was kind of like challenging myself to move into the Greek deity culture, but I could not connect. Like there was just nothing was happening.
Yeah, it's funny. Hestia's been coming up a lot lately. Like for me, I don't know. Like I mean, not like I haven't been working with her or anything. I'm just seeing her name a lot when I haven't seen it very often in the past. So that's interesting.
And the other thing is, like back in the day, I spirit hopped back in the day a lot. I deity hopped. Like, like, you know, go have drinks, and that's basically what it was. It was like I was like latching on to Spirit of the Month Club. You know what I mean? And like just from place to place and could not figure out where I needed to be.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that some people like go through that phase where they need to do that. You know what I mean? To like figure out what they need to be with. And then some people just hop around anyway. I mean, I know some people that have done it for a long time. And it ends up where they have this like menagerie of many gods, and I just get tired thinking about it. But you know, like more power to them. If they're connecting, like, hey, but yeah, no, there is when people start trying to connect, it's like you get torn between what you think you should be doing because other people are doing them. Right. Well, doing them, but you get what I'm saying. Well, maybe if it's like Pan or something, then other people.
Oh God, let's not talk about Pan. He's my daddy, and he goes a little crazy every now and then.
But yeah, like people. There's always like every now and then there's like a trending couple of deities that are happening, and I've always thought that either like that energy was especially needed right at that moment, or like there's like a bandwagon thing going on, and maybe it's both. I don't know. Maybe it's both. But people definitely can hop around in the beginning. But I think if there's a genuine Rob's like, Daddy Pan!
Daddy Pan!
I think that in the beginning, like they're just genuinely trying to find where they fit, you know? And it can be a process. It can be a process. But I asked, like, what do you do when they don't respond? Because that is a thing. Sometimes they don't respond, and people just, people get really down about that sometimes. And it's like, no, like, it's okay. That just means it's not it's a relationship and you got to build it, and it's got to be reciprocal.
Right. And sometimes deities don't want a relationship.
Yes, exactly. You can't like stand at someone's door and pound on their door and just be like, I want to know you, come out. I mean, like, you can, but they might call like the deity cops or something. I don't know. Yes, this is Zeus. There's someone outside my door. No.
Oh, 911.
Yeah. Where's this lightning coming from? Yeah, but there's no shame in just being like, okay, you know what? You're right. I'm not getting anything. I deserve a reciprocal energy here, a relationship there. So I'm gonna go to another door and I'm gonna see if they'll answer. And if I gotta talk to them through a little window, then that's cool. But we'll start how we can start and we'll get something, Joey's gotta go. Bye, Joey.
Bye,
but yeah,
Joey.
better to find where you fit. Yeah. But you gotta find it first. Oh, here's the question.
You know what, though? Let me just say this real quick, and then we'll get to this question, because I think it's a really good question. If I don't have an issue at all with eclecticism, because I mean, people can be as eclectic as they want to be.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you take it to such an extreme level, like I took it to, where you're just hopping from spirit to spirit every couple of months. And it may not even necessarily be figuring out where you fit. It's just you have a connection to all of these different entities and you really don't know where to go with it at first.
So basically it's all the different facets within yourself that are connected to all the things in the web, if you will, of life, and trying to explore them all.
Yeah, it's spiritual ADD.
Yeah.
Spiritual ADHD. I have still been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with Kuan Yin and Ganesha and Pan and all these different deities, and they're all from different cultures, but I'm in my private practice, I'm fairly eclectic, but well, not fairly. I am eclectic. I might as well just own it, right? But I don't think there's a problem with eclecticism. I think it's necessary at some point, even if you have like 50 different deities that you're building a relationship with, it's still necessary to build a relationship somewhere, because that's kind of the basis of. Oh, my Gertie girl's joining us. She keeps trying to jump up on my lap. So.
Kitty Cam.
Her full name is Princess Gertrude Paris Marie Van Cartier.
Well,
we call her Gertie for short.
Pinky out when you say that.
Right.
Yeah, well, and I think something that you just said was I feel like that summed it up a lot, and that was that it's like building a relationship, and it's like, how can you build an in-depth relationship with someone for a month?
Right.
It takes longer than a month. And like I have deities that and even some of my friends have, where they're like, oh yeah, I've been working with them for a few years, and then they realize like they've been around their whole life, but they just realized on their end that they've been there the whole time, and that itself took several years. So it's like speed dating, kind of, but like
Yeah, it is.
condensed more. And like, that's good to know your options, but also like, if you just keep speed dating, then you're not really finding anything, are you? Like one person. All right. So that question, let's see. I apologize if you answered this already because it just came in, but have you had issues where it seemed like a god or goddess was calling you, but when you attempted to answer the call, it was just dead air on the line? Yes, and it wasn't that one that was trying to call me. That was my experience anyway. Like, I mistook it. I thought that it was someone else. What about you?
I have actually not had that experience. Like, because I've been called by very few deities, and most of any deity that I've ever worked with before, I've chosen to research and dive into. But like, several years ago, probably right around 10 or 11 years ago, Ganesha started like reaching out to me, and of course he doesn't talk because his head was severed. I mean, and he ended up with an elephant.
That would make it difficult.
So he doesn't really talk. So he's like poking me, like Facebook poking, like poking me over and over, and I'm like not paying attention. Like this is, and I was like, this is a deity from another culture. The culture still exists. People still honor and work with this deity. He's not like some ancient pagan deity that's trying to revive himself. He's like already worked with. And I felt like, at the time, I felt like I really don't want to get into that because I felt like I didn't want to appropriate culture, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was unemployed for 5 years because I wasn't listening to Ganesha.
Oh.
When I finally said, all right, screw it, I'll just start working with Ganesha because he's not leaving me alone.
Yeah.
Suddenly I had a job offer. And so, I mean, it's like, it's just kind of open. Like, when I started actually working with Ganesha, it opened the doors to this job, which isn't even in the field that I'm trained in. But it's a good job, and I probably wouldn't ever go back to the field that I'm trained in because of it. But I'm a trained nurse, and, you know, I just got my nursing license like but it's an office job. I'm doing customer support, and it's a great job. It's like tech support, really. But the fact that I couldn't get any job at all.
Right. And then suddenly.
So I was like, okay, fine. Fuck it. I'm giving up.
Yep. Yeah.
I think the resistance is a problem. Resistance is a problem when deities start reaching out to you.
Yeah, I know. I got smacked up by the head by Hecate. Literally. Pixie asks, Pixie Do, did you ever have problems with one not leaving when you choose to work with another?
Probably ask Rob about that one. Yeah. Yes, I have. I have actually. Like, I started working with Kuan Yin in early high school, and she's been like a mainstay in my life. But she won't go anywhere. Like, I haven't asked her to leave. I really don't want her to leave, but I don't think if I did ask her to leave, I don't think she would go. Just because I think there's still a lot of stuff with Kuan Yin that I need to work with. So I don't think she would go anywhere if I did ask.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of going to say, did you ever have problems with one not leaving when you choose to work with another? So I think one of the things is that when I choose to work with another, and like that's great in theory, but also like, you know, they're not going anywhere unless they want to, basically. And just like, you know, you can knock on the door all you want, but they're only going to answer. And I honestly haven't had an issue with that because I don't see it as a choice. I don't see it as I have to choose one or the other. When I have a relationship with them, like I might talk to them and be like, look, you know, I need to focus on this right now. And so this one's going to take a little more of my time. Is this okay? Or, you know, like, this is what I feel. And normally, before I even get there with that conversation, essentially, or my energetic conversation, they're already stepping back going, okay, just, you know, do your thing right now because this is what you need in this phase. I'll be here, though. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to step to the side and let this person be right here because they have lessons for you. Like, I've experienced that. But like you choosing to work with another, I think is a different situation too. Because that person coming in with a lesson for you, at least for me in my experience, I usually didn't choose them. Like they just showed up and was like, hey, guess what? We're doing this now. You know? So I feel like they already had a powwow before they got with me. Like they were inside before I knocked on the door and they were like, look, at this point, I'm going to need her Monday to Tuesday, and then you can have her the rest of the week. But, you know, Monday to Tuesday, we need to get with her because we need to talk about her obstacles. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Like they're making custody arrangements at this point.
Yes.
Like visitation.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like that's what ends up happening with me. In the event that someone comes in that the others don't get along with, I guess you could say. I don't know. I honestly haven't had that happen. Like the ones that I work with are always kind of dualistic. So I feel like they're able to change a little bit to who's in there. So I've never had two deities just be like you to each other. I'm sure it happens. But I haven't. Have you, Alan?
No, I've never had two deities fight over me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never experienced that.
Over my time.
Like I wouldn't say that it never happens because I don't know, but in my experience, I've never had it happen.
I think most deities are probably okay to, I mean, they're deities. I think they're probably okay to step back and take a back seat if something else needs to happen for you for a while.
Yeah, I mean, because if you've built this relationship, it's like, you know, I don't know, it's like having a best friend and then understanding that, you know, this best friend also has another friend and it's their new friend. But this is still your best friend and you're still going to be there for them. Just because they have a new friend right now that they're talking to doesn't mean that you're not their best friend. You know what I mean? Like, they just need to connect with that person for whatever reason at this moment. That doesn't mean you have to go away. I mean, like if I was to strip it down a little bit and make it a little less like omnipotent, like that's kind of how I look at it.
Right.
How do you both feel about Fae energy?
That's all. That is a whole. That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing.
I was like, I'm gonna just wait and let Alan answer this first.
So, okay, so I don't know how most pagans identify, but for myself, I identify as an animist.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like everything has a spirit, everything has a consciousness, and it's all interconnected. It's all part of the one whole of nature or goddess or whatever your primary principle of creation is, I guess.
Yeah. Which that's another basic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To me, in my beliefs, like I feel like that's a very good example of a basic, is the fact that everything has a spirit. Period. The end.
Right. So I guess for Fae energy, I guess depending on what brand of Fae we're talking about.
Right.
If you want to go with the Irish definition of Fae, I guess, with I will butcher this name, but it's the Tuatha De Danann, the tribe of Danu. I'm sure I butchered that, but
that's how I've heard it, pretty much. Tuatha De Danann, Tuatha De Danann. Yeah.
They are the shining ones. They are the gods. They are kinfolk. They are ancestors. They are all of those things.
Yeah.
But they're also Fae. So to me, their energy is not even necessarily, I don't want to say light. It's open and accepting, but then on the other hand, you've also got these nasty little dark elf energies that wander around, and
which is really funny because those are the ones that I'm like, you're my people. It took me so long, Alan. Okay, so like for me, for Faye, when I was younger, I was not for Faye energy at all. Like I was like I will coat everything in cast iron just because like I was not having it, and my mother was all about that, right? And so like shit would be moved and lights would go on and off and freaking things happen around the trees all the time, and like stuff would be missing, and I'm just like, nope, cast iron, every wall, it all. And slowly over time, I have realized that the view point that you see Fae as, or most people see it when they think of Fae, is not really a very good representation of the Fae themselves. It's like my experience with them, at least, has been, yeah, Raven, Dreamer, Magpie, Seelie, and Unseelie. My experience has been more that they're not the bibbity bobbity boo bitches. They're the freaking like twiggy. Brian Froud. That's a really good example. How Brian Froud's paintings are more how I've seen them. Like they are raw and earthy and a mystery at the same time. You know what I mean? As being light as well. But they can also be I don't think that they're all like little sugar plum fairies with wings. You know what I'm saying? And I think I had to kind of like get my mind around that as I grew up. And nowadays I have a different approach with them. And actually, like, part of what helped me with that was Norse stuff, like Norse paganism and how they approach the Alfar and like the Svartalheim, where the dark elves are, the dark dwarves, and working with them, and the fact that the Disir, which are the ancestral women, have been linked to them as well. So like talking about land spirits and how spirits of place are also your ancestors as well, and talking about how the bones of our ancestors are the dirt that we walk on, right? So of course they're spirits of place. You know, of course these elements are not just pixies, but part of us and our history. And
Rob said they're super organic.
Yes. Yeah. They're very organic. That's what I was trying to say with like raw and earthy and so once I wrap my head around that, like Fae energy is much more workable to me, and I don't threaten them with cast iron anymore.
I used to. Sarah M was talking about her how she saw them as a child. When she was as a child, how she saw experiencing them is so different than I expected as a child, but so much more magical.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're raw and earthy, and they're super organic, and they're. When I was a kid, I used to think of fairies as Tinkerbell, like they were celestial, and they would come out of the sky with their cute little wings and bop you on the noggin with a star wand.
Yeah, celestial is the perfect way to describe what I was saying. Yeah, I used to think of them in that way too, but they're not in my experience. They're very earthy. It's like what is it? The mantises and stuff like that like sit on a tree and they like act with it. Like you can be staring at a tree and see them and not know you're seeing them. Like they are so much an extension of the earth itself and a part of it that you don't even, it's not this weird celestial fluff ball thing.
Right.
And yeah, you can't place labels like good and evil upon the Fae, their nature, but other, their mirror of this world, but wilder. They have their own rules, morals, etc. Yeah, I feel like there's always this push to make like these are the good ones and these are the evil ones. But like nature is nature. And if you respect it, like we were saying about like the ones that live in your home and stuff, like if you respect it and you know the rules there where not to tread, then like it really doesn't have to be this good or evil thing. It's nature.
I see even like the Seelie and Unseelie court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kind of see the Unseelie court as more the tricksters, not really evil, just more of a trickster than
exactly.
The rest of them.
Exactly. And you know what? Like tricksters are Random will back me up on this. Tricksters are forever made the bad guy, right? Like they're always the scapegoats. They're always the evil ones. But the truth is like they're also the ones who create change a lot of times. They're the ones who stir things up and sometimes they can teach you the harder lessons, but it's a good lesson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's oftentimes they're sudden.
Yeah. Yep.
They're just like, here we go.
And
train ride's happening.
Elephant in the room. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, so it is like 1:06. We're going a little bit over. If you guys have well, I'll take one last question and then I got to get out of here because I know I've got like clients and stuff today. So, but I could talk to Alan for hours and he can vouch for that. Because we'll call each other up like, how are you doing? How's your mama and them? and then we'll talk for hours.
Girl, you on the front porch. You might need to sit down for this one.
Right. Get some tea. Let's talk. What is a good book to start researching Celtic Fae? I haven't read many books on Celtic Fae. I just know them from my experience. Do you have any, Alan?
I'm looking at my bookshelf and I don't actually have any book on the Celtic Fae.
So I guess the best thing I would say then is to meditate on them, to connect, to go for walks, like we said in the very beginning, because the more you do that, the more they'll show up. And the more you can just ask them, like, tell me about it.
So, well, if you want to take the view that the Fae are also the shining ones and therefore the gods, you could look at The Gods of the Celts. It's a good book to go for by By Miranda Green.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so there's the front of the book. Let me click you so it stays on you. There we go. That's a pretty book cover.
I know.
Like, I would pick that out off a shelf and be like, what is this? All right, so I found a book on the brief history of Celtic myth and legend that glosses over a bit, but I'm sure there's several like that out there. Another person to ask too, I would recommend asking Joey, because Joey has a lot of knowledge with Celtic stuff, and she works with that sort of energy a lot. So you might even find something on her channel as well. But yeah, so like my advice would just be to like go out in nature and connect, and then also check out that book.
Pick a tree that you like, sit with your back against the tree, and sit in the silence.
Yes. Commune. Commune with nature. Embrace your inner hippie. All right, guys. Alan, is there anything you'd like to say in summary to this chat?
Sarah asked, do you either of you have a deity associated with fairy? Danu, the mother of the Celtic gods, would be mine.
Directly fairy, as most people understand it, no. But if you take the link of the fact that there are ancestors, like all of mine. Because I work with Odin, I work with Hecate, and I work with Hel. So, yeah. But none of them directly with that. I actually don't deal with Celtic stuff that much either. But I do work with like land wights and things like that because of Odin and that side of things, and Hel. So, kind of, but not really. Welcome to the flux. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna end it with saying thank you for being here. And you guys, all of Alan's links are down below. So if you enjoyed talking with him today, go sub him and go look up his book and go check out his blog and all those other things. Plug, plug, plug. Yeah. And I enjoyed having him here. I always enjoy talking with you, Alan.
I love talking with you because we could just sit for hours and hours and hours and go on about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say like Alan is like my brother from another mother, because although actually even my mother has talked to you and loves you too, and is like, I've known him. So, so yeah, Alan's pretty much become a friend of the family now. But yeah. All right, guys. So I love your faces. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Alan. Is there anything you'd like to say in parting to these guys? Anything like that?
Check out my goodies and like send me something and I'll answer you. Like, I don't care. Everybody's awesome. And this
Alan loves connecting with people, so people connect with him.
All the time. And yes.
Yes. All right. All right. Bye, guys. Hope you have a great day.
Bye.